All right, ladies and gents, we are here. Kick off for the FA Cup. Who would have thought, eh? We're in the FA Cup, so I got that ball this week. We're up to some FA Cup action. It's been a long time out, it feels like, with the international break, but we are back once more, and probably for the game of the quarterfinals. These two teams both have never won the FA Cup. Palace obviously got to a final, I think 2016 versus Manchester United, were beaten there. But both teams without an FA Cup. I think both without a major trophy in, I'd say 40 odd years. So massive for these two clubs. Obviously, Fulham coming off the back of that Manchester United victory at Old Trafford. Palace coming off that win against Millwall, where Jean-Philippe Mateta was awfully injured, but he's back for this game here. And that's probably one of the big news coming towards the team news there. Let us know your score predictions in the comments section as we get going here. I'll start reading out the team lineups as we're a few minutes away from kick-off. Leno's in goal. He made, I think, 3 saves in that penalty shootout versus Manchester United. Castagna and Anthony Robertson are fullbacks. Joachim Andersen, Calvin Bassey at centre-half. As we're seeing, finalists is Fulham's best effort. They haven't won either. Sander Berge and Sasa Lukic return to the deep line midfield positions. Willian gets the start alongside Alex Oboibi and Andreas Pereira, with Rodrigo Muniz leading the line. Raul Jimenez drops to the bench. Adama Traore also. Ryan Sessegnon, Issa Diop and Emil Smith-Rowe will be players to look out for off the bench as well. Looking to Palace. And boy, they got a strong side here. And Dean Henderson in goal. They've been built off defence in recent times. Mark Gehi, Maxen Lacroix, Chris Richards, the 3 centre-halves. Tariq Mitchell, Daniel Munoz are the 2 wing-backs. Look for those 2 to get up and down the flanks. For Palace, Adam Wharton and Jefferson Lerma roam the centre of the park with Eberechi Eza and Ismail Assar in behind Jean-Philippe Mateta, who returns. Big boom, there he is there with a big head brace on. 15 goals and 33 appearances. His stats just appeared this season. He's been in fantastic touch. They've got some dangerous talent on the bench as well. Eddie Nketiah, Matheus Franca, Daichi Kamada, Roman Essa, Ben Chilwell as well. So lots of talent on the bench. Obviously no Will Hughes for this game here. That's a massive loss. He's always a massive contributor to this side here. You can see there Berecha Eza on screen. Got his goal versus Latvia at the start of the week. So both teams coming into this game very, very, confident. They'll want to go have a trip to Wembley. I think this Palace side deserves it. They've improved so much since the managerial change just over a year ago now. But for Fulham, Marco Silva deserves it in many regards. He's done so well with this club. Gone under the radar. They are in competition for European positions, potentially a Europa League place for the side. There we go. Palace 2-time finalists, 90 and 2016. Both times beaten by Manchester United. They were 3rd round knockout last year. 4 consecutive wins though coming into this game here. So they come into this one very, very confident. As I said, let me know your score predictions in the comment section down below. Very excited for this one here. As I said, probably the pick of the games in terms of the FA Cup. We've got Brighton and Nottingham Forest later tonight. It's probably more the entertainment, 2 of the up-and-coming sides in the Premier League. Preston play Aston Villa early on tomorrow. And then Bournemouth and Man City. Well, that could be an upset. So we really haven't got any bad ties, to be honest with you. But I definitely have this one highlighted as probably the best of the quarterfinals. 2 teams wanting to get to Wembley. 2 teams playing for possibly their first ever FA Cup victory. An all London affair, as it always adds a little bit more to it as the 2 teams walk out onto the pitch. The Battle of London, Fulham and Crystal Palace. The ticket to Wembley awaits one of these 2 sides. Quite the atmosphere. Always something special at the FA Cup when it gets to this sort of stages. Round of 16 quarterfinals, and obviously at Wembley for the semi-finals and the final. Always has a little bit more about it. Don't want to make sure that's not happening. Little bit of lag, it's not always good. It's not what we want going to this one here. Want it nice and synced up. that fixes itself. I'll not have another Euros campaign again when we constantly have things stopping and starting. All right, back on track, looks like. I'll tell you what, yes, Fulham are competing for some European position, but this is probably it. This is probably the two club seasons coming into this one here. Both desperate for some silverware. Desperate for some reward for effort in many regards. I tell you what, this is not good to start the live stream, but a lag. I think it's on the provider's end though, because it keeps stopping at the same image. Hopefully we're good. Praying we're good, at least. Bit slow. Not good. Not what we want for a start of a live stream. While I'm hopefully sorting this out. Oh, not good at all. Not good at all. Hope the stream's running alright. Tell you what, the coverage is it. Restart maybe. So bear with me, people. Bear with me. We will get this back on track, hopefully before we get the kickoff. That might do it. That's how we go here. Let's hope we don't have the same problem we already had. Score predictions before this one gets underway and before I forget all about it. I am going to go with a Crystal Palace 2-1 win after extra time. I think it's going to go deep. It's going to be close throughout. As I said, probably the pick of the quarterfinal ties because of how close these two clubs are. You can't really separate both of them. And this is really quite worrying. We're not going to get any footage on the screen. Classic Australia. Classic Optus Sport. Failing us once more. But yes, I'm going to go with the Crystal Palace 2-1 extra time victory. I think they nick it. I think Jean-Philippe Mateta might just be the difference. Fulham have gone with a different sort of side as well. I would have thought you'd go with Raul Jimenez. I thought you would have gone with an Adama Traore, but you got to back in Marco Silva. He knows what he's doing most times, so I'll give him a pass this one here. Both teams in their respective huddles warming up here for this one as we are a minute away from kickoff here. Palace looking to get back to Wembley after they made the final in 2016. Fulham looking for Wembley berth, the first time they've had that in a while. It'll be Fulham that gets kicked off here. And this place is rapturous. Pereira gets us kicked off. Fulham in their white strip, kicking from left to right. Palace in that crazy looking blue and red. The Battle of London. The challenge of the Thames, if you can call it. Both teams looking to book that ticket to the Arches to Wembley. It's an absolutely electric atmosphere there at Craven Cottage. I think we're going to be blessed with one of the games of the weekend here. Early on, Fulham on the front foot here with Anthony Robinson, the skipper. That's going to be quite the matchup. Munoz and Robson has had a good ball in the box and away by Mark Gehi. But yeah, Munoz probably one of the informed right backs in the league outside of Ola Aina. Go up against the most informed left back and Anthony Robinson, who's been most consistent this season. And obviously the big man up top, Jean-Philippe Mateta, taking on his former teammate in Joachim Andersen, and Calvin Bassey, who's always a physical presence, played very well versus Manchester United in that round of 16 tie at Old Trafford. In splendid London conditions as well, by the way. The sun is out, shining. You got there's manic Palace fans on the goal. We're going to sing all night long. Bump that volume up. This one is going to be entertaining from start to finish. Let us know your score predictions in the comments section. I've gone with a Palace 2-1 win. Now 50-50, won by Muniz, and skips away from Lacroix. Muniz, oh! And an early chance inside 2 minutes, just wide of the mark. Let's go indeed. 2-3 to Palace, I'm guessing. Are we going 2-3 to Palace? We're going... I'm hoping that's in the order of the home sides. Muniz, first chance there. Worrying sight for Maxime Lacroix. After I've raved about him for 4 or 5 weeks in a row now. I don't want him conceding early. Gotta love the FA Cup though this time of the year. There's a real vibrant feel about this one. Go here there to clean up, as he will do all day long, you'd assume. Sander Berge. He's had quite a very good year. Under the radar a little bit. If you're joining us on assist as well, let us know your thoughts in the comment section on the assist website as well. We're getting it going here on YouTube. Very excited for this one. Palace is the shout. 3-2 Palace. I'd take 3-2. Get us clips deluxe this one here, but it's going to be nitty-gritty in these two sides here. First goal important. Fulham have been on the front foot in the opening 3.5 minutes. Adam Morton's just clipped Andres Pereira's foot there. Nearly foul from the former Blackburn young midfielder. He's going to have a massive game here to keep Sander Berge and Sasa Lukic quiet. Big crowd here for this FA Cup tie. Dangerous spot for Fulham. We know they like it from these sort of regions, especially with Andres Pereira over the football. Joachim Andersen and co will wander up. Tell you what, how's the lineup on Andres Pereira at the moment? That is aggressive from the Brazilian. Plays short to Willian, his countryman. Surging for Bassey, away by... Oh, there was half a chance there for Timothy Castagna to come right back out to Willian. I don't think Palace have gotten into Fulham's half so far. Robinson's searching ball for the big Brazilian up top. Can't take that one down. Hook clear by Mark Gehi. They just need to be on the football for a moment here, Palace. They can't get a sniff. So that stats has been read out. 1 away defeat in 5 months for Crystal Palace. So they come here confident, especially considering it's just across the Thames, this game. So it feels a bit of a home game. Then the Palace fans have come in their numbers as well. So they'll be confident. They want to take this game on the front foot. That's what we're hoping for. A bit of a back and forth one. There's Willian, the surprise inclusion for myself. But ever experienced, knows this competition, knows how to win some trophies, time at Chelsea, Arsenal. Constantly successful, so he'll be important in this game here in a nitty-gritty type quarter-final tie. The early stages, though, as I said, all Fulham so far. As Anthony Robinson drops that ball back to Calvin Bassey. Oh, great ball from Anderson. Finds Pereira. Oh, and a little reverse ball looking for Anthony Robinson. He was on the same wavelength as the Brazilian. Long ball searching for Mateta. Won by Bassey initially. Wharton squeezed that up to his Malassar. That flick was quite poor in the end. is the former Palace. Luke Manson there to Sander Berge, and now back to Bassi. Been critical of Fulham's centre halves this season. I thought much more than coming into the year. They've been under par for me, which is probably hypercritical, but expectations for Fulham this season were increased. Maybe not to the levels where they are in the league and where they are now in a cup quarter final, but I feel like the one area of the park where they've really been let down is their two centre halves. So look to those two to be important, shutting down Jean-Philippe Mateta, who gets his first main touch there. Mitchell away from the Castagna challenge at a foul. Another massive battle on that side as well. Castagna versus Tyreek Mitchell. We know how Palace wing-backs like to get up and down the pitch. They are proper wing-backs. It's 3 at the back when they're attacking and 5 at the back when they're defending. So Munoz will push on. We've seen him scored 2 or 3 goals this season. He scored in the last cup tie versus Millwall as well. So Conte going to be a threat going forward. Anthony Robson to be aware of that. Tyreek Mitchell year on year has gotten better and better going forward. So we've got challenges on all over the park in this one here. Sander Berge. That's a real smart ball from Robinson to find Andreas Pereira. And what can the Brazilian do? Palace back with numbers. Because Richard's got an important touch. It's fallen to the edge of the area. Bit of a head clash. The referees let play. Iwobi. Floated ball to find Willian. Great little touch. Oh, now we're behind for a corner. Just for a moment, I thought Anthony Robinson was going to run onto that one and belt it in. But the first quarter of the game goes to Fulham. Willian will go over to take this one here. Good to see everyone in the chat there. Across assist and across YouTube. It's a quick ball in. It's towards Bassi. Almost exact same idea of what they had at Old Trafford. Bassi nearly getting it at the back post there. Just sneaking in there, and for once for Mark Gahey, it could have been 1-0 Fulham. Really well done by Mark Gahey to keep it 0-0. You know how dangerous Calvin Bassett can be in the air from those set pieces. Mitchell's throw into Jean-Philippe Mateta. Fills out to Jefferson Lerma. And Munoz headed on. And here comes Ismail Assar, and he's bundled off it by Sander Berge. Now Willian. Here comes Fulham. Numbers on the edge of the area. Andres Pereira. Willian. Cutting in on that right foot of his. Dropping it back. Sander Berge. Crowd wanting him to shoot. Not obliging though. Palace now with all 11 behind the ball here. He's sitting in that real deep shot. It's almost like a 6-4 right now. Great little pass. Robinson. Ball deep. And work behind by Tyreek Mitchell for another Fulham corner. Really good give and go between Willian and Anthony Robinson. Ball into the box, lacked a lot of pace. Allowed Mitchell time to sort of get there and get the ball behind. The threat's been there from Fulham so far. They look the better of the two sides. As we approach the 11th minute mark here, Willian to take this next corner. Right footed out, swing from the Brazilian. Dangerous spot. Anderson gets the initial touch. Now Pereira. Dangerous ball in. Way back Gahey. Anderson. No. Deflects out for another corner kick. Jefferson Lerma in the way this time. Chini had a really important block because we've gone through some bodies. Henderson should have had... Oh, it's come off his arm. At the moment, I look for VAR. But I feel like that's a natural position if there's ever been one. Now look then. On we play. Williams out swinger once more. Connected by Munoz, but lacked the power. Had the precision, but easy for Dean Henderson to come and collect. And Palace in a settler, you feel. Just a little bit of possession. That shows you there. 24 passes to 80. Fulham's pass completion up in the 90%. Palace have only successfully passed around 60% of their passes. So they're the team on the back foot. They're the team that need to strangle back control of this game here. It's Henderson now. He can reset. He goes along to no one in particular. Bassey's put that out of play for a Eagle story. For Oliver Glasner to sort out. Slow start for his side. Sarr works away from Bassey. Oh, it's a dangerous ball. I thought your commander's put in his own net. Actually, it was Sound DeBerge in the end. And Palace first corner of the game. Sort of comes from nothing in the end. A half clearance from Anderson. Sarr picks up the 50-50. And Sound DeBerge puts the ball in his own net. But that's the dangerous Palace out there. So good in transition. It's been a real iconic look of them under Oliver Glasner. Here's the talented Anna Morton. Mateta, Lacroix, Gahillot targets. It's in Lacroix. Oh, a little tap on it. Mateta right in front of the keeper, but Leno comes and collects nicely. There's your first warning shot for Fulham. First real threat that Palace have had all game. They've barely touched the football. That shows the danger of this Palace side. Here's a Wobie. Send the Berger on to do this. Drop in little spaces. Pick up the ball. And dictate the speed of this game here in the centre of the park. Fulham side that possesses the football. Palace more of a counter-pressing transitional side. So we've got fire and ice in many regards between these two sides here in the way they approach the game. But what that means, we're going to get an absolutely belting outcome. That's a poor challenge from Warden. That'll be the first card of the game. Reaching and lunging and taking out the Brazilian. It was a reckless challenge from Warden, and he knew what he's doing, bringing down the left wide player. What on the yellow has at least 75 minutes more to play of regulation, plus potential an extra 30. So doesn't want that yellow card this early, because to play a bit more safer from now on in. Pereira's ball. Looking to the back post, but overhit. Now for the Palace goal kick. Get back underway here. Third of the way through the first half. Quarter of an hour in. It's sort of flown past, but it's all been Fulham. Because of stuff like that. Winning those 50-50s. Things are just bouncing their way for the moment, and you've got to make the most of it, you'd think. Good atmosphere. I said this from the start, but it's been a real vibrant energy at the Craven Cottage. London affair, London battle. As I said, the Archers await for one of these two clubs. One of these two famous clubs that haven't probably had the history they deserve. Pereira nipping in at Wharton. Sander Berge winning that one back. There's Willian. In the side against Munoz. That clearance from Lacroix not good enough. And here comes Anthony Robinson now. Tinked in ball, force Alex Iwobi. Willian urged to shoot, doesn't oblige. Iwobi in. Oh, Robinson never sat for him. Hooked back in and Henderson ends up collecting. A little bit chaotic back there for Palace, but means to an end in the end. Great ball in from Iwobi. Munoz couldn't get his head onto it. The ball never really sat from Robinson, and in the end the hooked cross just lands in the lap of Dean Henderson. Good little ball from Richards. Almost finding Munoz, but put out by Calvin Bass. He's had a really good start to this game here. Picking up where he left off at Old Trafford, you'd say. Colombian at wing back there. Yeah, Lerma long throw it looks like. And I've had the pause there. That's not good. So just readjust that on your screens if you're following along. Then I had to punch there. That got dangerous. Wharton sliding in despite a yellow card. He's not afraid. Ismail Assar. He wanted the foul. Bassi wins it back cleanly. Two Afghan representatives there. Willian looking to find Bassi. He ends up getting there. It's Bassi. Pereira. And he's hooked it wide. Great move from Fulham. Centre half making the storming run forward. What a little pass there from Willian. You think it's going out of reach. Lerma just misses the ball. And the cutback's superb. And Pereira on his left foot, you think he'd do better than that. Always curling wide of the mark. Big opportunity missed for the Brazilian. Marcus Silva enthused, and so he should be. It's been a fantastic bright start in the opening 19 minutes from those wearing white. Pereira flicked header by Mark Gehi. As mentioned, Munoz and Lerma, obviously Colombia internationals, long trips back from the Copa. World Cup qualifiers. The Brazilian as well, Andres Pereira, part of that squad. The Europeans got lucky, but South American representative, tough to turn it around from international break. Robertson chasing that 50-50 and absolutely clattering into Mark Gay in the end. The captain's going right at it. But the American, heavily involved. That left-hand channel, it's been Willian and Robinson all day long. Add Calvin Bassi as a left-sided centre-half to that as well, and you've got a very strong Fulham left-hand channel. I said Palace desperately need a settler. Whether that be 5 or 10 minutes in possession or a couple shots or a corner or two. Just take the sting out of this Fulham side. They're pressing well. They're winning the ball back well. Moving the ball with ease. And Palace right now are just looking long and almost praying that something sticks to the feet of Jean-Philippe Mateta or Ismail Assar. I'll be surprised, not really. Palace like to do this, like the City, and they like to win without much of the football. Robinson's ball searching and finding Rodrigo Muniz. Great header to his countryman. Pereira's touch gets away from him. They've been so close and to almost perfection up top, but Andres Pereira multiple times now making the mistake. Here come Palestine transition. Ismail Assar. Mateta. Big hoofed hook to find Tyreek Mitchell. And that ball from Lerma into Ez is poor. And Wobie blocked off by the Colombian as he wins it back for his side. There's nothing in that. Rodrigo Muniz has to get up. Anderson and Wharton get into it. Two former teammates going head to toe. He tries to have a bit of an afters Wharton, but that's just cut football in the end of the day. He's blocked him off. Marco Silva wants the red. It could be a red, but like, come on, we're in a cup quarter final. Warren ain't happy. He's going to go at it. There we go. A bit of nit and grit here in this game. I would really love to see. Really is living up to the billing here as an FA Cup quarter final. I'll tell you what. Pereira, soft foul, and Jefferson Lerma. Margay, sorry, in the end. Halfway into the first half here. Fulham with the two best chances of the game. The corners to go with it. Mateta's around the body ball. Just too much for his mother Sar to reach. Robertson's throw, finding his left-handed side of counterpart there in Willian. That clearance meets Tyreek Mitchell's head. Don't think Mateta wanted that header. It's not a great sign to see if you're a Palace fan, because if your centre forward's in, he has to compete. Big chance from Anderson. Mateta then dragged to the ground by Alex Iwobi. Big challenge going in from Anderson. It's Sasha Lukic in the end that pulls down Jean-Philippe Mateta. First time Mateta's really got involved though. And you see good things happen for this Palace side when that happens. As over this set piece, Maxime Lacroix, Mateta, Gehi, and Co. all waiting for this one to be delivered in. Chris Richards there as well. Dangerous spot for a free kick. Short to Wharton. Oh, his little training ground drill trying to find his mother. Sar. It's a volley. Oh, it's at the post. What a strike out of the sky from Jefferson Lerma. Iwobi's little topo clear. And it was a crossbar in the end. Lerma just had a crack and that was dipping. Oh, I thought it was the post. It was actually going to find the back there if it didn't hit the crossbar. It was a crossbar in the end. Oh, Mike, what a hit. From the Colombian, he has to throw this one in. That's the closest we've come. Long throw headed away by Timothy Castagna. There's Lerma again. He wants to tee up another one. Wharton. Has it to go back to Henderson. That's Fulham's warning sign. He's headed straight down Ismail Assar. There's Adam Wharton. Into the feet of Eberechi Eza. Eza holding off for Wobie. Landing at Sar's feet. Still Ismail Assar. Now Munoz. Just sort of run out of green grass to deal with out there. Fulham back well with numbers. Lerma. Became inches away just literally a minute ago. Holding off Pereira. Finding Munoz. And this is what I was talking about for Palace. A little bit of a change of momentum. Get in the ball. Get some attacks going. And all of a sudden, those Palace fans behind the other goal were up and about. What a chance from the holding midfielder. There you go. Last 10 minutes, 60% possession of Palace versus the 40 for Fulham. That's what they needed. That's a little cheap foul on Eza by Sasa Lukic. You're going to make the most of this pressure. A few more chances, get involved. $17 and change to play. Here's Eza again on a set piece. It's very deep. It's too deep. It's easily claimed by Bernd Leno in the end. Still 0-0, but we've had our fair share of entertainment so far across the opening half hour. Crossbars hit, keepers saved, corners taken. Little spot fire as well. Had it all. Good start to this quarter-final FA Cup tie. Both teams looking to make it to Wembley. Palace to try and make up for that 2016 heartbreak versus Manchester United. Fulham to try and get back to another final. They're second in their history. So, a lot to be excited about for these two clubs here. Two teams on the up. Two teams with fantastic managers. Oh, it's a poor touch from Mitchell. Into Lukic. Now to Andres Pereira. Spread to Willian. And you know Robertson's in the outside of him. Looking for a Wobie. Headed away by Mark Gehi though. It's a Fulham throw in front of those Crystal Palace fans. Better though from Fulham. Again, though, the key is get Willian, get Robinson involved. Good things happen. Here's Calvin Bassey now. Fulham just probing here. Momentum's just swung in the way of the Eagles, so they'll look to try and find a way back in this game here. Wharton once again nibbling away at the feet of Andres Pereira. Munoz nicking in. Winning that. It's won the second ball though by Pereira. Another ball into the box. Not quite dealt with by Mitchell, but now for another Fulham throw. Again though, Fulham winning those 50-50s, winning those half battles. That's what matters. Pereira nicks in ahead of Sarr, wins that ball back, whips the ball in the box. Another chance though for Fulham in the wide space. Left-hand channel has been unbelievable for them in this game here. $15 to play here in this first half. As we expected, come into it. Very, very even. Very, very back and forth, which is good as well. Up and down the pitch. Chances, which is sometimes a bit of a rare commodity in these cup quarter, semis, and round of 16 ties. You have to get very cagey affairs, especially in the first half. Expect it to really open up as this game goes on, as the sun keeps baking down these players, trying a bit of the energy out of the legs. Wembley to come, you're going to give it your all. We're in for a big one, I feel like, second half. But not quite near the end of the first yet. We've got a lot to play. And Sasa Lukic now to Timothy Castagna. Oh, smart ball from Willian, almost finding Andres Pereira. Iwobi. Pereira again. That ball poor to try and find Joachim Andersen marching forward. Ismail Assar with a smart turn. Couldn't get away from the second challenge. Leno out, and he just hoofs it. It's searching ball. Muniz will challenge. Henderson collects, though. The fourth official is going to be in for a busy game because Marco Silva, from history we know, a very, very chirpy man in cup competitions, in particular this one. Old Trafford 2 years ago, remember when he got sent off. Back in play now. Muniz, great hold-off play. And wins a foul off Lacroix. Great play from the Brazilian centre-forward. Maybe I was a bit critical on that selection because Muniz has done his job. Held off the centre-halves, occupied the centre-halves. Made it difficult for this Palace side that's been so rock-solid defensively across the last 3 or 4 months. 3-2 to Palace in the comment section. I went 2-1 in extra time. Could be a single goal though that separates these two sides here because it was very tight early on here. Mateta holding off Anderson. Isn't that a battle? Anderson falling over. But winning the ball in the end. The referee's letting the players play for a bit. Muniz drops his knees in the end. Nothing given there. That's a great little cross-ball hit. And a great take by Tyreek Mitchell. There's Eza. Cutting inside. Eza, what a goal! Eza with a spectacular finish. And it's Eza magic and it's Palace 1-0. That is absolutely spectacular from the super number 10. The number 10 with a 10 out of 10 finish. And it's the away fans that erupt. And boy, what a move for the Palace lads. Great take from Mitchell. It's a great switch ball for Maxime Lacroix. Gives the ball to Eza, cuts inside. There's a little space and he finds the bottom corner off the post. Pick that out. You can't hit a ball much better than that. Arrowed into the bottom corner. Off the post and into the back of the net. And the Eagles are flying in the FA Cup quarter-final. They haven't really had a sniff for the first 25 minutes, but the last 10's been all them. And Oliver Glasner is absolutely pumped, and so he should be. We have lift-off in the quarter-finals. Palace 1, Fulham 0. And it's that man Eza again. Telling those Fulham fans to keep it down in the home end. The Eagle has landed in this game here. And it's down to Eza. They continue their great run in cup competitions to scoring the first goal. What a bloody strike indeed. It was incredible. And those Palace fans are up on their feet behind that goal. Here's Sander Berge. Robinson! Oh, straight at Anderson. Could have the instant response. I'll tell you, Jacob, that was a strike and a half. I'm glad you're watching that. That's something special. Oh, the noise coming from those Palace fans. Just that timer. And Palace have liftoff and have a sniff now of Wembley and the Archers. Coming together in the quiet and Muniz again. And again, no foul given. The Brazilian has to learn. He's going to have to be physical in this one. What a game we've had here. I knew coming this one I'd pick the right one to go for. These two clubs like to play some great football. It's really gone to script though, hasn't it? Fulham on the front foot in terms of possession. Palace doing their bit in transition. And it was one swift move and one of those game change, the X-Factor players. Eberechi Eze, who's in the similar mold to Michael Elise. I think he's too good for Palace. I love Crystal Palace and love watching them, but he just feels too good for them. He is some player. A goal for England in the week, followed up by a quarter-final FA Cup goal. What a week for Eberechi Eze. His stocks continue to rise, and if my support of Michael Elise last season wasn't loud enough, I'll make it louder for Eberechi Eze. If you're a big club amongst Europe, keep your eye on this superstar. Another one they've found to the Championship. Another one they've developed across the last 2.5 to 3 years. He is some player, this kid. Another memorable moment for Eberechi Eze in a Palace uniform. What now for Fulham though? 8 minutes this first half to play. They've got it all to do. There we go. Again, the commentator with the stats. 2 clean sheets at home all season for this Fulham side. That's normally against the centre-halves there, but that goes to show them there's some real credit to my anger or frustration with this centre-back partnership. They haven't get many clean sheets. Here's Eze keeping that ball in. Faced up with Sander Berge. Good ball in. It's ahead of the goal. It's 2-0. And it's his partner in climb, Ismail Assar. And now they're soaring. The Eagles are really on fire now. What's a move again? Swift, precise, and just unstoppable. They've carved up Fulham at the cottage. What a move. Kept alive by Eze. Found by Lerma. And then once he gets down this left-hand channel, you think, find someone in the box. And he stands at Sander Berge, and I was surprised he didn't get this cross blocked, but what's a ball in. And my word, what a header from Ismail Assar. The two number 10s connect up. And it's a 10 out of 10 goal for Crystal Palace. It's 2-0. Too good and too to the good. That's total football, if you ask me. Oliver Glasner has turned this side into a ruthless machine. Running away with it indeed, Jacob, because this is something special. Ismail Assar added to his fantastic second half of the season, and Oliver Glasner and his crew look, they're going to add to this unbeaten run away from home. They have been unstoppable. Away game animals, road game rampage, whatever you want to call it, they've got it right now, Palace. They do not lose when they're on the road. And now 2 goals ahead. It's going to take some turnaround now from Fulham. They got in a goal for half-time, you feel. Henderson comes out here, he heads away. And there is a rampant away end there to the right of screen. "11 hours of away game football without conceding a goal for Crystal Palace." They are flying right now. Great footwork there from Mark Gehi. Pass was pulled out of Eberechi Eze. Fulham in a strike now. Right now it's flailing Fulham. Not fiery Fulham. Started so brightly. There, those two again. Robinson. The cross blocked by Chris Richards in a way. Another Fulham corner. Haven't had one of them in over a quarter of an hour. Fulham desperately need this. And for Palace, you just need to see this first half out. 5 minutes and change. Go in with that clean sheet. Continue this great run you're on. Keep Fulham at bay. They're going to be ravenous. They want this goal. Willian's in swinger. Met by Mateta, the man with the mask. Here's the Brazilian. Lukic. That cross met by Munoz. He's going to press up and force Fulham backwards. Just fabulous from Palace after the 25th minute. It's been scintillating, superb, silky and smooth. All the superlatives you can think of. It's just been relentless as well. They haven't really missed a beat. 2 swiftly taken, smoothly taken goals. Build-up's fantastic. Finish is superb. And if you're Fulham, you feel like we only switched off for 10 minutes and we're down 2-0. But that's football. Marcus Silva there looks a man a little bit defeated. They've been at this sort of stage a lot in the last few years, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 3 in the last 7 years. I think they've made it this stage, I think. He in particular knows the story too well. Old Trafford, I think 2 years ago, was the exact same quarter-final stage. Once again, Jacob, I agree. He's been less of the ball-playing Wharton and more of the aggressor in this game, it feels like. Sliding in for challenges, arguing the referee. Combative. He's taken up the Will Hughes role, it feels like Adam Wharton this game here. Saying that, look at that little pirouette. Look at that turn as well. Wonderful from Wharton. Great timing, Jacob. The pass not so good, but that's what we expect from Adam Wharton. That real silky mover in midfield. The white Iniesta. Here he is again. Palace would love a third, wouldn't they? Lerma hunting and winning that 50-50. This is the real swing. All the 50-50s in favour of Palace. Great switch of play for Mark Gehi. And Munoz couldn't take that down into the London sun. Shut your mouth. Maybe you do. You know, keep talking about Adam Wharton, because if he keeps doing what he's done there, look at that replay. Pirouette, turn away from danger. The pass is a bit poor, but sometimes I think he just takes the piss, Adam Wharton. He's way too good. Again, another championship ball they have surfaced, Crystal Palace. Elise, Eza, Wharton, Romanessa as well coming through the ranks. They just know who to pick up from the English second tier. There's Richards. What a pass into Eza. And Mitchell beat Iwobi to that ball. That's a foul, yep. Iwobi a little bit flat-footed and Mitchell just wanted that ball more. And a real dangerous spot. On a free kick. Dead ball here, central. But close enough to make something of it. As we're in the last minute of regulation here in the first half. So we can expect a couple of stoppages here. 2 or 3, I think is the rumour. Nah, you're right. Eza, flicked on. Lacroix got the foot contact, but to nothing in particular. Iwobi trying to skip away from the challenge, and he'll win a foul back of Tyreek Mitchell. There is 2 minutes of stoppages to play. 2 minutes for Fulham to try and claw back into this tie. Even if it isn't a goal, but a momentum, maybe a big chance for the half. Because they've just lost their way since the opening 25 to half an hour of this game. That sort of roles reversed there. A long ball to nothing in particular. Sort of symbolic of what Palace were in the first half an hour of the game. Palace are relaying. Fulham are flailing. I tell you what, in this spring sun in London, you don't want to be trailing in warmer conditions and tiring legs, I'll tell you that. Sarr holding off Bassi, going to ground too easily. Been a physical game so far, and the ref won't give a foul for that. 50 seconds and change now. For Fulham to try and change this first half. Bassey, Willian. Lerma sliding in. Iwobi winning that ball. Drop into Sasa Lukic. And could this be another opportunity for Fulham now? Lukic. Willian, low-driven shot. Blocked away by Chris Richards and picked up by Jean-Philippe Mateta. Couldn't find the on-running Munoz. Here's Bassey with a few step-overs. And requires time to take a touch and hoof that ball clear. And that might be that, I think, for the first half. Another Bassey marauding run from the centre half. There we go, 47 minutes on the dot. 2-0 to Palace in the first half. That was, I guess, could be separated into two halves within the first half. It was all Fulham early on. Palace had the odd chance here or there on the break, but they were quiet. Turned the half-hour mark, and the game switched up on its head. A special goal from Eberechi Eze in the 34th minute gave Palace a 1-0 lead as he scored off the far post. Ismail Assar made it 2-0 literally minutes later. Eze turned provider as he crossed the ball in to the other number 10 to head home. That was how it wrote. 2-0 at halftime. Palace lead going into the break. I'm going to take a short break for the halftime interval. I'll be back after halftime to see if Fulham can turn around this quarterfinal tie, or do Palace stroll and book their ticket to Wembley for a semi-final FA Cup berth. It's been a great first half. More to come in the second half. I'll see you guys in around 10 to 15 minutes. Alrighty, football fans. Second half action. Ready and raring to go. Boy, we had a great first half, didn't we not? I had a great time at least. Palace 2-0 up due to the good, but it's a cup tie. Things can happen. Things will happen. I'm sure of that, especially with these two clubs that love to put on some great games, let's be honest. There's been some really good games in these two sides across the last 2 years or so. So buckle yourself up. get ready, get excited, because we are in for one hell of a second half. I have a bit of a comeback from those boys in white. So I would love a Crystal Palace semi-final berth. As I've said, I've been over consistently. If you've somehow missed the idea, I love myself a bit of Crystal Palace football here on the channel. I watch them week in, week out. Love what they do. Love the football they play. And I love that man who scored that opening goal. Eberechi Eze is a superstar player, and as I said, it deserves a lot more credit than he gets given. Top tier player. And right now they've got 1 foot into that semi-final. And a ticket to Wembley is in their grasp. Second half action, literally seconds away, waiting for these plebs to get off the pitch. And then we'll get kicked off here. Here we go. Palace has kicked off in their traditional blue and red. Fulham in their white and black. Palace from left to right. Fulham from right to left. Kicking towards both sides, adoring fans. In this All London FA Cup quarter-final tie. We've had it all so far. What we really need, though, is a Fulham goal. It's got a good start here. Muniz. Poor chance from Richards. That'll be the first slice of cheddar for the second half. Lunging, reaching. Always going to be a foul. Okay. Getting my friends and assist synced up here. And then we're ready to go for the second half. All right, we are all good. If you're joining me in assists, join me on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Big second half ahead, as I said. Might be 2-0, but I don't think that scoreline will remain much longer. Whether it be Fulham coming back or Palace adding a third, you can be sure that something will definitely happen across the next 45 minutes. Here's Anthony Robinson. Pass deflected and nipped in one there by Jefferson Lerma. It's a Sarr whose pass broken up by Calvin Bassey. Man of the match so far, easy, Eberechi Eze, but for Fulham, tell you what, Willian and Anthony Robinson have probably been players of the game outside of that little run that Palace made. They've been fantastic in this game. You're dropping that off. This is Malassar. And then handball against Ismail Assar. Fulham free kick. And I want to get pace into this game from the start of the second half. They don't want to get this sort of second half slowly tick away. They want to get at it for minute 1 and put pressure on this Palace side because time is against them. Here's Willian to Robinson. And off Richards in behind for a corner. First corner second half, 3 minutes in. But again, very simple for Fulham. Use that left-hand channel. Use Willian. Use Robinson's link up. The reverse pass. Robinson the outside. Always going to be a danger across the ball into the box. We'll be coming short here. But Willian looks like he'll take this one. He's in swinger. No one challenging. Richards, he heads away. Alex Iwobi. Drops the ball off to Willian. Little give and go between those two. Andreas Pereira is sort of fade out of this game. Richards away. Lerma hooks clear. Finding Pereira once more. I feel like he'll be the first to be hooked if things stay the same way because he's been wasteful. I think the word to use in the final third. There's Alex Iwobi. Really desperately want that first goal and probably want in the next 10 minutes if you're Fulham. As I said, the longer the second half goes, the more time becomes an extra player for Crystal Palace. Good start though from Fulham. One-touch stuff quickly. Trying to play through this resilient Crystal Palace defence. Now it's over 11 hours since they conceded away from home. Again, Willian, the centre, everything for Fulham right now. There's Joachim Andersen. Sasa Lukic now. The Serbian. Until Iwobi just escapes the touch of Willian. And he bundled into the back of Daniel Munoz. So he welcomed free kick for the Palace fullback there. Not really much in it. Throws himself over. Extenuates the little nudge from Willian. Makes the referee's decision easy for himself. Henderson long. Now with Calvin Bassey. Keep in mind, I guess, looking forward in the competition, Man City, the only real big boys that remain. Got Villa and Preston. You'd think it'd be Villa. Goes this way, Crystal Palace go through. Bournemouth and Man City is really a toss-up of the coin. We've seen City struggle against Bournemouth this season. And then Brighton and Forest as well. So it's a lot of the next group, Villa, either these two sides, Brighton, Forest, Bournemouth potentially, all those teams from sort of 5th onwards in the Premier League. Ball lead headed out by Richards. Matets the second ball. Out to Pereira. Tried to tee up a shot. Couldn't quite get that ball under control. Here's Sasa Lukic. Into the feet of the Brazilian. Here he goes again. Willian. Cutting inside. Mateta heads away with that mask on still. Ezra escapes the first challenge and feeds Munoz. That's a heavy ball. Wasted a massive chance. They're looking for Ismail Assar. That was the break for Crystal Palace, you thought. Not going to put the game to bed. Takes one more touch. I reckon he takes it inside of him. And then could have just rolled in Ismail Assar. Smartly let her off his line. As he gives it away to Fulham. Here comes Sasa Lukic. Growing in confidence and growing in his involvement in this game here. Sander Berge has been central and pivotal to it all for Fulham. Anderson's crossfield pass. You know that's targeted for Willian. Robertson the underrun. Great cutback flick from Lukic. Doesn't have enough on it. And as they're brought down by Timothy Castagna. Palace can breathe a sigh of relief. Munoz has to be more vigilant there because it's very obvious, it's very apparent. There's one wing they're going down, and it's his side. And it's got to be help from Ismail Assar as well, tracking back to stop Anthony Robinson's run as well because he seems to continually be able to get under or over the fullback to get chances. Berger. Anderson. Bit of head tennis in there for a minute. He's Adam Wharton away from one challenge. Slips into Ezra. He can't escape. Sander Berge. Alex Iwobi. Smart little ball into Munoz. Holding off Lacroix. It's got to be a foul. Munoz not happy. Fulham fans and Munoz not quite happy. Some of these decisions of the referee. Unless they're found for Fulham and they keep playing. That's wasteful from Timothy Castagna. Those Crystal Palace fans making all the noise right now. Here's Ezra. Dragging back Sander Berge. We want to go fast and look for that same wing, but Munoz reads it this time. That's what's going to happen with the time pressure. You're going to force mistakes out of each other. Passing just past the ball around because time, now as I keep saying, is becoming their friend. And friendlier as the minute goes on. Searching ball, flipped on by Ismail Assar. Here's Munoz. Ball in. Ezra. Met by Joachim Andersen, the former Palace man. Who lofted ball in. Ezra really didn't go hard. Joachim Andersen did though and got the block in the end. Had quite the game. A goal and assist already for Eberechi Ezra. Could make himself a real hero if he capped off another goal or assist here in this second half. It's a poor pass from Tyrick Mitchell. Caught in between two places. Sander Berge. Looking for options, not finding many. Castagna. Just over half an hour to play in the second half. Palace holding their 2-goal advantage. At the moment, they've been the better side. Fulham have had their moments though. They've just got to pounce when they do though. Palace have been clinical. Palace have been swift and slick in the final third. Fulham have lacked that real sharp edge. Does it come now though? Castagna's ball blocked behind from Tyrick Mitchell. Another Fulham corner. Another chance for Willian to whip this ball into the area. Real strong challenge from the English fullback. Continues to be a development, I guess, of a player. Willian's outswinger. Looking for Joachim Andersen, met by Chris Richards again. Pereira's lofted the ball back in. Mitchell heads away. Munoz further. Pereira hooks back in. Mitchell met it again. And it's out as far as Anthony Robinson. Who's headed, looks to escape Bassi. In the end, Bassi knocks that ball out of play. Hearing word of Emil Smith-Rowe getting ready. I think that's Andres Pereira's day done. Munoz throw. Met by Sasa Lukic and now Joachim Andersen. Munoz touch just gets away from him. Adam Ward winning that 50-50 there. Henderson sort of roughly hooks that ball clear. There's Willian. Couldn't get away from Richards. Back to Willian though. Sort of bobbled about there. Iwobi's ball in. Dangerous. Richards again. Been a human brick wall at the moment. Ball magnetised to his head. And one man stand back there. Another clearance, another important action from the big centre half. recycles that. Pereira. Another poor ball in the box. He has to get subbed, I reckon. Whoever's, if it is Smith Rowe or if someone else coming on, it has to be Pereira to go. So wasteful. The groans from the crowd. I can feel it. Bassey. Fulham backs against the wall absolutely right now. Hit the hour mark, half an hour to play. Still 2-0 and still looking like too much to do for those in white. Palace haven't really done too much, but in cruise mode in the second half, it feels like. Adama Traore as well, alongside Emil Smith Rowe to come on. So attacking talent. Might be one of those holding midfielders to come off. And I think Andreas Pereira as well. Flicked it from Sarr, doesn't end up anywhere of danger for Palace. Henderson comes and volleys clear. Anthony Robinson. Anthony Robinson now. Good little infield ball to find Andreas Pereira to Willian. It's those type of names need to be start calling out more often. Sander Berge. Fulham a lot of the ball, but not much incision, not much precision right now. The shape from Palace, the structure, the formation set up so well. One goes to press, everyone else stays in a nice, organised, orderly fashion. It's just nowhere to go through, especially centrally. They're forced wide yet again. There's Robinson. In the way is Munoz. Colombian hooks clear. As far as the halfway line where Calvin Bassey's waiting. Once again, very similar, almost mirroring the first half here. Palace sitting in, Fulham doing the probing and the pressing, but all it takes is one Palace counter-attack, one Palace good movement, and this game's all over. They are too compact, Jacob. I cannot see a way right now Fulham break this apart unless they have someone that can play a ball between the lines. And Andreas Pereira or Emil Smith Rowe will have to be those sort of players because they've got the pace on the outside, but that's not going to work versus this Palace side. They're set up that way. 3 centre-halves, 2 wing-backs. Workers back like Eze and Sarr. I just don't think you can win the game from the wide spaces. Fulham will try, though. 80% of the ball in the last 15 minutes. So basically since the start of the second half, they've had all the ball. But you know what? I don't think Palace are fussed one bit. Here come those substitutions. Just as Lukic does make way to allow Adama Traore to enter the field of play. So there will be a shuffle in there. Maybe Pereira is kept on. Here's Andreas Pereira to go. So Andreas Pereira goes as well. So Emil Smith Rowe will drop into the number 10. Now Wobie probably ducks into midfield as a deeper line midfielder, allowing Adama Traore out to the flank. Obviously, Willian will continue out there as well. So probably their strongest attacking unit, unless you add Jimenez in there as well. Smith Rowe in the 10. That's your play. You need to break down a low block, a compact unit like Crystal Palace have been all day. Willian's flick, finding Muniz. Back to the winger. Willian now finding the substitute Adama Traore. Skips past Mitchell. My God, he's there in the way to meet him. That's the thing with Crystal Palace. You get past one defender, you meet another. It's so deep. It's so compact. It's so hard to break apart. And this is where they're danger on the break. Sarr's ball. Needs Munoz. Tries to get past Sander Berge, but that man's a human brick wall. And Robinson. Sander Berge gives it away. Wharton, that's a really aggressive pass looking for Ezra. Hook clear by Joachim Andersen. Wharton past one, but not past two. Not quite been his day, Adam Wharton. He's been quiet. He's faded in and out of this game. So who's been good is Jefferson Lerma, who wins that ball back. Here's Munoz. Once again, Palace, I'll take any sort of stint in possession they can because they're not the ones chasing this game of football. Here's Fulham, who are 2 down. And Palace, who are 2 to the good. Giving it away and giving it back to Fulham, though. Bassey. Fulham going to go now, you feel like. 25 minutes to go now. Iwobi. Anthony Robinson. It is very obvious his left-hand channel is going to be dangerous. They can get in transition, maybe Adama Traore on the right, but the danger comes from Willian. The danger comes from Adama Traore. Anthony Robinson. One back now. Crystal Palace with Emile Sarr. Mateta charging into that box. Sarr tries to keep his feet. I don't think that's a penalty. I think it's just a running out of green grass for Ismail Sarr in the end. Commentator said it. Too slow. Oh, there's a mistake for Mitchell. Adama Traore. Oh, blocked away for Maxime Lacroix. That's just been a theme of the day. Every time there's one sort of mistake or one defender gets skipped past, there's another on the way for Crystal Palace. Traore, the new man, a little bit rusty. Misplacing that pass into the box. Smith Rowe gives and go with Willian. The time to really make a name for yourself in Fulham colours. Now will be the time for ESR. Show you're worth that money. Willian. Ball into the box. Just no one in particular. Headed away by Tyreek Mitchell. As wins the second ball. Playing for the foul. Won't get it. Fulham throw. Time is really flying past second half. 23 minutes to go. Sander Berge. Willian. Can he replicate? Ezra! Oh, what a save, Henderson. I don't know if it was on target, but it would look close. Almost rolls reversal there. Ezra then to Willian. Takes a little deflection. I'll tell you what, was going close. Henderson, massive save. The deflection helps him, but had to make that save, and was an important save nonetheless. Willian's outswinger. Headed on. Is a tap, and it's Bassior's blocked at the line. Tyreek Mitchell in the way. It looked like it was destined for the back of the net. Bassi was on the line, basically had to tap it on. I think it was actually Ismail Sarr on the way. Iwobi's cut back, put behind by Lerma. Palace hanging on by a thread. It just was a little half chance. The ball got nicked. And there it is, Bassi on the floor. Empty net, it felt like. But Sarr, what a block. What a chance of Fulham. That could be their chance. Ismail Sarr getting back in the line to make the block. Headed away by Maxime Lacroix. It's Alex Iwobi. The ball just doesn't quite sit for him. Left-footed ball. Poor in the end. A chance for Palace to make some alterations. Kamada and Nketiah. Mateta's race has been run. Not a bad stint from the man coming back from that serious head injury. And Morton coming off with that yellow card. This game's getting juicy indeed. Tell you what, if that ball across the line, Jacob, I think we're in for a real crazy last stand. But as it stands, Crystal Palace are one of the best defensive teams in the country, and Fulham can't quite break this side down. Hey, there's always a moment though. FA Cup, the magic of the FA Cup, always something will happen. Ryan Sessegnon and Raul Jimenez are ready to come on. Willian makes way. His aging legs have done its time. Here comes the massive centre forward. I think the assist stream has dropped out, which is a shame. We're back. Sorry, we're back on assist. Fulham fan in the assist chat. Appreciate that. It's been a tough old game for you guys. Get that chat up on this screen here. It's a little bit far away, the other one. Oh. Come on that. Okay, we're good. We're back. Junice. Appreciate you joining us as a Fulham fan. Always good to have fans around the country join us. Massive Nottingham Forest fans, Brighton fans earlier this season. We've got some Fulham fans now. Appreciate you joining us there from assist. Got to keep hoping. Got to keep believing here in your side. Advantage to Fulham. Truro keeps that ball alive. Palace just under 20 minutes away from that Wembley ticket. Again, the Quad made a half mistake, but Fulham can't pounce. It's a foul from Jimenez in the back of Jefferson Lerma. Silakava time wasting for Maxime Lacroix. Sorry, I had to get a few things lined up, but we're all back on track around the grounds for the streaming services. There we go. Last 16 minutes. There is Nketiah. Keeps it alive. And his Malassad just got a touch got away from him. That could have been something out of nothing there for Crystal Palace. There's Dachi Kamada. Looked offside against Nketiah. It's 3-0 though. No flag. Eddie's done it. And it's Wembley, who is calling? And it's the Eagles who will be soaring there. Eddie Nketiah, the icing on the cake. 3 to the good now. And they're wandering to Wembley. Crystal Palace doing what they do best. Pressing hard up the pitch, winning the ball back through Lerma. It's a slip ball in from Daji Kamada. It looks like he's sits onside and then slips it through the legs of his forward teammate, Leno. And Eddie Nketiah doing what all good strikers do, come off the bench and making an impact. And that's got to be that, you think. Nketiah indeed. Hammer, nail, coffin, the lot. Fulham flailing. Eagles soaring. And those Wembley archers are just over the horizon for those in blue and red. I've seen some great comebacks, but from 3 goals down, the way this game's been run, it looks like Palace have almost 2 feet now at Wembley. And they're singing that they're going to Wembley. Sing away, Palace fans. This has been some performance. Dominant from start to finish, it sort of felt like. They've lived without the ball, but they've shown you don't need a ball to win. 3 great moves, 3 great goals, and Fulham, not really much to show for the possession they've had. It is. So it's 5 consecutive quarterfinals. My God. Yeah, okay. I wasn't going crazy earlier today. I thought it would be a lot of quarterfinals for them. And it has. There we go. Here's the automated offside. Onside just. Calvin Bassey playing him on. He felt offside at the moment. I don't really celebrate too early, but what a move. What a pass from Dachi Kamada. And Nketiah getting back on track again. He's had a few goals here come the second half of the season. That's what Palace want. A bit of pressure on Jean-Philippe Mateta. 2 functioning strikers and 1 from the bench would be even better. They're singing away to the right-hand side of screen. Palace jubilation. Mitchell nipping in at the feet of Traore. Corner kick for Fulham. Marco Silva again. Falling short of that last header before Wembley. And these Fulham fans going through it again. Another solid cut run, but nothing really to show of it. Tell you what, those Palace fans will believe. With their track record, their form right now, come the turn of 2025, one of the best teams in England, going in to face the last 4, an out-of-form Bournemouth, an inconsistent Man City. Brighton probably one of the other strongest teams in the country as well, so that will be something as well. And then against Aston Villa, being out of form all season, they're probably one of the top 3 or 4 sides left that deserve to be in a semi-final the way they've played their football. That's a shove in the back. Says nothing to the referee. Joachim Andersen pushing on. Sessegnon has come on for Anthony Robinson. Can he replicate some of that magic which he had versus Tottenham a few weeks back? And the Burge has been everywhere. It's been too little, too late, or not enough. How do I reckon the Brighton Forest match? That's one of the great questions, my friend. How do I reckon the Brighton Forest game's going to end? It's at the Amex, isn't it? Let me just double check that first before I give you my... He's at the Amex. Let's at the Amex. I think Brighton actually get up. They'll make up for that horror show that 7-0 a few weeks back. We live streamed that one. That was a great game to live stream. I think, though, I think Brighton get over the line. They've been great at home come the last sort of 2 months since January. One of the best teams in the league in great form. I think they get the better of Forest. I think they win 4-1. I think it's going to be a high score, maybe even 4-2. I think it's going to be goals galore in that game there. No Chris Wood, that's a good point as well for Nottingham Forest. It's less so Chris Wood, it's more about the counter-attack of Nottingham Forest for me. Like, they're very dangerous, and that's what Brighton didn't do well in that league game. But they have got the midfield back. They've got Balibe Ayari back in that midfield, and that changes it for me. So, Kev. I'll go with that. I think Brighton end up winning that game 3-1, 4-2. 2-goal differential in that one there, but both will score. You know Alanga or Hudson always going to have something to say about that game there, but as good as that back line is for Nottingham Forest, I think right now Brighton are just telepathic, fluid football. It's really good to watch. So that's what I'm saying. Here we go. Ezra. That's offside against Ismail Assar, I think. Good save from Leno anyway. Advantage from the referee because that was offside. But yeah, finishing that topic, if Brighton win, and obviously it looks like Palace winning here, that is going to be one hell of a semi-final tie if they can get drawn together, because you've got, talk about fire and ice, that is a great example of it. Brighton will have 90% of the possession. Palace might have 10%, but Palace might score too. That's the thing. And that's why I love watching Palace. They're so good with and without the football. It just makes it entertaining to watch. That's why I love Palace. I love Bournemouth, watching these two clubs play. Bournemouth a little bit more progressed. They're much better with the ball. They play with a little bit more possession. They counter-press a little bit higher up the pitch. But both are so good with and without the football. Brighton are great with the football, but sometimes too slow. But I'd love to see that as a semi-final tie. A bit of a Brighton Crystal Palace tie. Both clubs are be desperate for a finals berth. That means Bournemouth, Aston Villa, other semi-final. I'm here for that as well. Definitely backing in Bournemouth. I hope they get over the line versus Man City. I'm praying they do. They deserve it this season for the year they've had. Be an ideal world. You get Villa, Bournemouth. You get Palace and Brighton. Two fantastic semi-finals for me. Jacob, you think Bournemouth City is honestly unpredictable? Yeah, I agree with you, Jacob. I don't think it's as straightforward as many people may think. It's also at the Vitality. City lost there earlier this season, if I'm not mistaken. They've beaten Arsenal out there. Chelsea only just got over the line. So that's a toss of the coin as well. To be honest, we've got some great quarterfinal ties. I thought this was the best one, but the other two are great as well. Obviously, the Villa-Preston one, we can hope for a Preston upset, but it's blocked it out for a Fulham goal kick. But I feel like that's going to be the weakest of the lot. But nonetheless, you never know. Again, the magic of the FA Cup. Things can happen. We saw Coventry a couple of centimetres away from making a final last year. We'd love to see another team from the second tier make the semi-final and make a chance to Wembley. Press on the way. My namesake all the way, Jacob. Back him in. Give me a Bournemouth Preston final. There we go. Might cry if that happened. On this game, though, Fulham, I think as has been a theme of their season, really solid in possession, but can't make much of it. They've gotten to the final third and looked blunt. Robinson and William was the only real avenue to goal. It felt like Iwobi floated in and out of the game, looked better moving into midfield. Smith Rowe's come on and struggled. Muniz did his job. He held the ball up. He was a physical presence, but it just felt so obvious the way that Fulham were playing, and they just didn't have that final ball. Pereira wasteful. The balls into the box from Willian and Robinson, not that great considering the positions they got into. When you look at Palace, what do they had? Like 38, 40% of the ball in this game. I'll get the exact numbers up. They've had 30% possession, and they've had 8 shots, 6 on target, and they've put 3 in the back of the net. There's just different levels to these two teams. Like Palace are a team that are in great form, but it's consistent. Whereas I look at Fulham. Fulham are a team, I said always in the predictions of the Premier League video, I find it impossible to predict a game for them because they're 2 good games, 3 bad games. You know, they're up and down. Cut back from Castagna. Muniz. Oh, for a minute I thought it was in. Good block in the end. Jimenez. Kearney's come on. Smith Rowe. Kearney's whipped in ball. Back post. Traore and Castagna get each other's way in the end. Traore's ball meets Eza. And he can hook clear. It was 50, a lot of them are 50-50, Jacob, before kickoff. But am I surprised? No, I hit Palace in the build-up. Yes, 2-1, not this badly, but it felt like I came into this game, I felt like Palace were going to win it. They're in the better form. They're better defensively. And I say, Fulham are good for 3 games. They'll give you 2 poor ones. They can't put together a strong run of form, which is 6-7 games. Whereas Palace, I think the most informal away team in the country. Their league football's been fantastic. As here comes Munoz. Eza was all free on the far side. I don't know why he didn't play the ball. Bassi wins out back smartly. And that butchered the counter-attack, Munoz. Smith Rowe now. Into Muniz. Oh, and he's got left off for Jimenez. And the 2 centre forwards got each other's way. We approach the final 4 minutes of this one. Fulham fans, fair enough. Most of them are staying, watching this one get played out. Also, as Crystal Palace fans, it'll be a great trip across the Thames. Lamb has seen that one out. But I'll look ahead to, all of it. We've already asked about the Brighton Forest game. I think I'm seeing, I'm going to Brighton 3-1 that one. I'm going to go Villa 3-0 against Preston. And I'm going to go Bournemouth 2-1 extra time win versus Man City. There's my predictions for the rest of the quarterfinals. Munoz has run his race. Nathaniel Klein to come on to replace him. And Devaney, so maybe Eza coming off or one of those number 10s. Is Malasar, yes. Coming off for the cult hero Devaney. He scored some really important goals this season, Justin Devaney. The ever-experienced Nathaniel Klein, he knows a thing or two about these sort of games. Pass his header out for a Palace throw. Hell of a game for Ismail Assar. Massive goal to make it 2-0 before half-time. And was heavily involved in that 3rd goal as well in the build-up and the pressing. So, fantastic game for him yet again, which no surprise though. Come the turn of the year, fabulous. Freddie Nketiah. Fulham have to focus on league football now. The race for Europe is still alive. Some tough games to come, but they're in amongst it. You know, Bournemouth will be bouncing back to their best form in a few weeks. I don't know how good Brighton have been in the recent times. I think Forest always a challenge. So many teams in that clump. I've made that video for the members. Join the membership club. Small donation a month to help me out. You can join the membership club. Get a video like that every month. I made this breakdown video on why the Premier League's actually been not that bad this season. A bit of a clickbaity title being the worst season. It's actually not, I think, the worst season ever in the Prem. Because this midfield battle, as they say in the F1, has been quite ridiculous this year. And you can almost count Palace in that middle pack. But Fulham, one of those. Brighton, also one of those. Villa, Bournemouth, all pushing for European contention, which makes it very, very intriguing. Kamada pulling down Sander Berge and Klein kicking that ball away, and will pick up a yellow card for his first mistake. The 89th minute of this one. But like Jacob has mentioned in the comment section there, it came in this game as a very even affair. We've come out with a very one-sided, lopsided result. didn't expect to see this one side, I've got to be honest with you. Come Matthias Franco, and off comes Eberechi Eze. What a game from the superstar. Goal and assist. Absolute superstar. Matthias Franco comes on. He's such a very, very exciting talent. And isn't this guy exciting? That goal there, fantastic. Cutting on that right foot. Right into the corner, off the post. Ole Glasner. Couple words for his superstar. Will this be the last season we see Eze in the red and the blue? Because, as I said, as Michael Elise says, need to go by. You've got to back in these Palace talents because they are superstars. Elise has taken it to the Champions League stage. I feel like Eze can definitely do the same thing for a big European club. Daniel Klein hooks that ball along into the grateful arms of Bernd Leno. 3 minutes of stoppages, so a minute in, 2 to go. As Fulham fans slowly head for the exits, whilst those Palace fans sing with glee. Because they're off to the Archers, they're off to Wembley for a semi-final tie. In a couple of weeks' time. What could be a very special season and what could be another massive feather in that Ole Glasner massive cap, because he continues to show the English media in the Premier League what he's all about. And for me, he continues to show why there is talent abroad. And yes, Eddie Howe just won the first trophy for an English manager in, I think, over a decade in the Carabao Cup. There's a lot of talented and IQ and smart managers abroad, and a lot of great football being played abroad, which I don't think gets the respect it deserves in the Premier League. But Ole Glasner coming across has shown that there's some serious managerial ability abroad. You got to back these managers in. Donny Ariola, Oliver Glasner. You know, Espirito Santo coming back. And Nketiah takes us to the corner flag in front of those Palace fans, and they'll absolutely love this. Couldn't quite get it. Oh, it's bounced off Sander Berge. Nearly behind for another corner. Into the last knockings of this one here. What was teed up to be a very, very competitive, combative quarterfinal tie ends up being very one-sided. But from all those singing on that right of screen, it's those in red and white, the Eagles, will be soaring into Wembley in a few weeks' time. One hell of a performance. Eberechi Eze. Quality. Nketiah off the bench, fantastic. Ismail Assar, of course, fabulous as well. And I tell you what, someone who's built into the game as well, Jefferson Lerma, off that long trip from Copper qualifying. Fabulous work from him as well in midfield. That is that. A massive win. A real statement day for Crystal Palace. Beating the cross-turn rivals Fulham. 3-0. A superb opening goal from Eberechi Eze just after the half-hour mark. Ismail Assar headed home for 2-0. Only 4 minutes later. Come the second half, another high-pressing move. Created a chance, which was put away by Eddie Nketiah. It was 3-0. It was too good from Crystal Palace. They're heading for the Archers. I've said it all day, but they are the Eagles, and they are soaring into Wembley. Ole Glasner's men are firing. They are one of the teams and the hottest teams to watch in the country right now. Keep your eye out for Crystal Palace. It could be a fairy tale story. They head into Wembley once again to avenge that 2016 heartbreak against Manchester United. And boy, they come in with some fantastic form. Fulham tried, they huffed, they puffed, but they couldn't blow that Crystal Palace defence down. They were too good. 3-0. Dominant display. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gents, on Assist and YouTube. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Enjoy the upcoming FA Cup games from this weekend. And I'll see you guys on the live stream or podcast very, very soon. It's Palace into the semi-finals. It's Palace going to Wembley.